If you are math-averse, but want to understand the role of topology in psychoanalysis, you may want to consider this proposition. While we believe that we operate in an observable realm, our motives and plans create maps that project both to and from a realm that is decidedly unobservable. Use Alfred Hitchcock's 1951 film, Strangers on a Train, a story about the plan for a double murder, to model this problem in terms of a circuit with a twist. Because our motives and projections create a parallel universe, where the impossible is placed alongside of the possible, the reality function of negation is basically ignored. This is what we all must do to consider hypothetical situations and survive in a world where possibility must be added to actuality in order to survive. We must both project into the future and revise our memories of the past. In other words, the negation that is essential in the moment-to-moment of the everyday must be suspended to allow us to travel back and forth along the otherwise fixed line of time. Dreams and fantasies thus live in a 4-pi world where a thing and its opposite can circulate without contradiction. Our single-circuit realism forbids this, so when we map from the 4-pi world to the 2-pi world, we come up with what is called non-orientation. Non-orientation creates problems for our everyday perception because it appears to violate the principle of non-contradiction. Like déjà vu or being in two places at the same time, the orderliness of space and time seem to be dysfunctional. This calls for our intervention. We deal with non-orientation through customs of sacrifice and consecration, where we convert impossibility into an imaginary transfer of the problem object back to its source, the 4-pi realm. We are sometimes lucky enough to find direct graphic evidence of this model of non-orientation, as in this astronomical model of the precession of the planets, which was so puzzling for astronomers, especially before the Copernican revolution. Cosmic evidence is extremely compelling, even when it presents itself in the form of something seemingly impossible. It is often said that the Lacanian Objet-a is not representable, but in ethnology you sometimes get visual evidence of its effects. At least in this diagram from Athanasius Kircher, we can find ready proof that artists and scientists have been aware of the difference between the 2-pi and the 4-pi realms. Something may be unobservable but mappable. From time immemorial, this has meant that the 4-pi region has, for divination, religion, astrology, and astronomy, a potential for consulting divine authority, with the condition attached that any measure we might make of this source should be fully insulated from human wishfulness, an insulation that allows the 4-pi forces to converge on their own. Instrumental convergence is in plain view in this 1951 film by Alfred Hitchcock. This is one of those stories that uses symmetry in its purest form, as a kind of destiny that locks characters into behaviors that they clearly would wish to avoid in real life. Bruno has Guy's monogrammed cigarette lighter, the critical non-orientable element that will allow Bruno to implicate Guy, who is the 2-pi representative, pulling him into the twist plot, represented by the interior 8 at the level of the 4-pi. The unobservability of the interior 8 is the factor of concealment. By removing the element of motive in doubling the murders, the police theoretically will not be able to detect the crime. The lighter must be non-orientable because Bruno needs an object to force Guy to execute his part of the bargain against his will. The lighter is the Objet-a, the object that is critical in either securing or breaking the deal.